My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. Every single week, we break down full fight cards. We give you our picks, our bets, and our fantasy plays. So make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our content. Next up at UFC Vegas 47, we have Hakeem Dawodu versus Mike Trizano. Hakeem Dawodu is 12-2 overall. He's 4-1 in his last 5, coming off a decision loss to Mazlar Evloev. Mike Trizano, 9-1 overall. He's 4-1 in his last 5, and he's coming off a solid win over Ludovic Klein. Hakeem Dawodu is a high-level striker. He throws everything with power. He sets nice forward pressure pace, but he still manages to have excellent counter punches while plodding forward. He'll walk forward throwing leg kicks and straights, and as soon as you fire something back, he will just dip his head and then return. He's technically very, very sound. He's incredible as far as his technique is concerned. He has very real power. Mike Trizano is the second Ultimate Fighter winner on this card. He's a fun forward pressure striker with some real power and lots of energy. He came off a 2-year layoff last year to beat Ludovic Klein in a pretty big upset. I mean, I don't remember what the odds were, but he was a very big underdog, and he beat Ludovic Klein in that fight. And what was interesting is it was a close fight, but Trizano was actually taken down a few times. And he was able to steal the fight later with just a rally, some power strikes, and is just calculated striking. And he is a calculated striker. He does a really good job of mixing in the power and the speed. He can put his foot on and off the gas pedal as he needs. And the most impressive thing about that Ludovic fight is that he went on the stool in between rounds, and he said, "I need to pick it up." His coach didn't tell him that. He said it. "I need to pick it up." And then he went out there the third round, picked it up, and that's what won him the fight, was what he poured on in that third round. Mike Trizano is a pretty impressive guy. This should be a really fun fight. We have two heavy-handed strikers that should deliver. I think Dawodu is the more powerful striker. I think he's the more technical striker as well. But Mike sets a real hard pace, and he doesn't gas. These odds are pretty reminiscent of Mike Trizano's last fight where he pulled that off. Man, it's just so tricky to make this pick because I have Hakeem Dawodu as my pick. But I think Mike Trizano, just like his last fight, is a stupid live underdog. I went to go place a plus 3.5 bet on him because I'm like, yeah, he could steal around. And the odds makers were onto it. The odds were not good. Not good enough to take them. What do you think, Jacob? So Hakeem Dawodu is my pick, but it's like this. I think this fight should absolutely be a pick'em, and these odds are a bit wide. What do you think?
Yeah, Hakeem, 3 of his last 4 wins are split decision wins, and I think it's for one reason only, and that's because he does have the power, but the guy really doesn't throw combinations. It's just jab, jab, and then he throws a straight, and then a jab, and then a big over and right. He doesn't put things together. He just doesn't have that. He doesn't have that forward pressure you mentioned with Mike Trizano. He just kind of sits, and he does land some big punches, but there's those situations where he has landed the bigger punch, but 3 or 4 split decisions, those could easily be one judge away from being losses in all of those. And you're looking at a completely different fighter instead of 12-2. Mike Trizano, I love that you mentioned the pace because that's what I love in this fight. I think there's going to be 2 things that dictate this fight because I think it's probably going to be a decision either way. It's going to be whose jab is going to be more effective because that's a big thing for judges because I think it's a lot of just jab work, especially for Hakeem, but Mike as well. It's going to be a lot of jab, jab, jab. Who's able to dictate their jab, and with that jab, who's able to dictate the pressure. Whoever is on the back foot in this fight is going to lose the fight. That's just the way it's going to be. I don't think they're going to knock each other out, but in the eyes of the judges, it's going to be a lot of the same volume, a lot of the same shots, but somebody's going to be backing up. And I think it's Mike Trizano that's going to be able to dictate the pace in this fight. He's proven that before. You've seen Hakeem kind of be able to take a backseat at time and wait. So I think this is going to go to a decision. I think Mike's going to do enough to get that decision. I like Mike Trizano in this fight.
Man, I may flip my pick by the end of the week because
I was convincing. I know. I was convincing.
And I agree with everything you just said. And what's funny is while you were talking, I looked up because I remember I went to place the plus 3.5 bet. I just looked it up. It's minus 190. So Mike Trizano goes from a plus 150 fighter in this matchup to minus 190 and all he has to do is win one round. And that's an interesting line because that means the odds makers are almost positive he's going to lose, but they're also positive he'll win.
It's all those split decision wins by Hakeem and Mike Trizano. 2 of his are split decision ones. So we have 5 split decision wins between both these guys, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I listen, guys, tune into our pre-fight live stream. We do those at 1 p.m. Central before the fights on Saturday. We do a final breakdown. We build a full card parlay with your picks. And if the parlay hits, all the money goes to the members of this channel. Tune in then because I may flip my pick to Mike Trizano between now and then. This is razor thin in my opinion. I like, even if you look at the stats here, both of them have solid striking differentials. Mike Trizano, the wrestling stats aren't that meaningful, but he did get a few takedowns. He's got solid takedown defense, but I think the whole thing's going to be dictated on their feet, and they're pretty evenly matched on their feet, honestly, especially if you factor in Mike Trizano's just forward pressure. Man, it's a pick 'em. These odds are absolutely wild. If you want to take advantage of that and grab Mike Trizano at plus 150, absolutely do it. I don't know what I'm going to do with DraftKings yet because I might change my pick, but what do you think of DraftKings? You must love $7,700.
No, because I think it's a boring decision. I think he could win a decision, but that's not enough to put him on my DraftKings. I want someone that I know for sure is going to win, and he could lose a decision. You've seen Hakeem win 3 split decisions, so he does something to get the judge's attention. So, and I think it goes to a decision. So I think Mike pulls it out, but not enough to put him in my DraftKings lineup.
Yeah, and listen, Hakeem Dawodu,
even if he wins, I think it's like 50, 60 points. I think it's like a few strikes around, and he gets 30 points for the decision.
Well, Dawodu's my pick. He's still my pick for now. I may change that by the end of the week. We'll see. But right now, he's my pick. I don't love these odds. I do think it's much closer than these odds. And the monkey knife fight, it may be a less more situation because, like you said, Dawodu, he does have solid volume. But I think with Mike just pushing a pace, staying in his face, he may not be able to get off all the strikes that he's normally used to. So he may be held to under 80. And I see Mike could potentially get past 60. But I don't know what to do with that monkey knife fight strike line. What do you think?
I actually 100% agree with the less more. I think that off his back foot, Hakeem's going to be a lot of jabs, but not a lot of combos. I think Mike's able to get the combos off 2 or 3 punches at a time, and I think it's a less more play.
Yeah, and if you want to play that, go to wewantpicks.com/MKF. If you sign up with them, they will instantly match your deposit. And then all you have to do is play the strike lines. And tell you what, you can use their free money. You deposit 100, they'll give you 100. Use the free 100. Play these lines. If you win, you triple your money. If you lose, who cares? It was their money, not yours. wewantpicks.com/MKF. And if you want 50 free bucks from us, go to wewantpicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our betting partners. Make a deposit. Let me know, and I'll send you 50 bucks as a thank you.